A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our subscribers joining us from different parts of the world. Once again, we welcome you to the second edition of the Greece Investment Summit 2025. This session is dedicated to Acquest Advisors India, a leading advisory firm specializing in global residency and citizenship by investment program. We are excited to have you join us for an insightful discussion on international real estate investments and strategic migration solutions. Acquest Advisors has built a strong reputation for guiding high net worth individuals and investors in securing global mobility, wealth diversification, and premium lifestyle opportunities through residency and citizenship programs. With years of expertise in the field, the firm offers customized solutions for clients looking to invest in golden visa programs, second citizenship options, and international real estate portfolios. We are honored to have with us Mr. Paresh Karia, who is the CEO of Acquest Advisors, and he will be sharing expert insight and answer your questions on the best global investment routes available today. So, we would like to welcome Mr. Paresh Karia. Mr. Karia, welcome to the Greece Investment Summit 2025.
Yeah, thank you, Mayank, for having me, and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
It's a pleasure, sir. So, moving ahead, sir, we look forward to understand more about the services which are provided by Quest Advisors, and your expertise has been the global residency and citizenship by investment programs, based on our experiences that we have discussed with you in the past as well. So, we would like to understand more about how you approach and what are your strategies in the changing landscape of the investment and migration sector.
Right, right. So, like you rightly said, we operate in the world of immigration, but we work in a very, very niche area. We are a boutique firm which advises on investment-based immigration. Given my background as a chartered accountant and as a banker and an investment advisor, we have decided to focus only on investment-based immigration because that's where our expertise lies. And with my years of experience on the investment advisory side, both in the local market or as global market, we feel that we can do value addition on the immigration and investment side and help our clients to migrate, lawfully, invest wisely, and live happily in their new country choice of country. So that has been our motto, and that is what we have been following.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, since we are here at the Greece Investment Summit, so we would like to understand from your perspective, how do you see the Greece as a destination for Indian investors compared to the other European residency program which are available in the market?
Right. The Greece as a destination has become very popular among Indian investors, especially over the last 2 years. The golden visa per se has become popular among Indian investors since COVID and post COVID. During COVID, everybody realized that, you need to have a backup plan, you need to have an option. And people started, not only from India, but all over the world, people started exploring alternative residency options, especially residency by investment. Sorry.
No problem. We can go
Yeah.
ahead, sir.
So especially residency by investment option, whereby you actually invest and get residency. You don't need to move anywhere overseas. You can continue with your affairs in your home country, but at the same time, you invest in a property. You invest in property or real estate in any other country, and you create a right. You have a right. You don't have an obligation to go into the country, but you have a right to move into a particular country and stay there and be a part of country should you desire, if the situation arises, or if you wish to move there sometime in future. So golden
Okay.
visa programs have become very popular since then, and particularly the Greece golden visa program picked up in the last 2 years because the other programs were becoming more restrictive, and Greece was more, we had a dynamic leadership over there. People were very dynamic and they were looking forward and they were encouraging this kind of program, whereas other countries like Portugal and Spain started putting restrictions. So since then, Greece has become very popular among Indians.
Excellent. So, now coming to the second segment, which says about the investment landscape in Greece.
Yes.
And I mean, to ask you, Greece Golden Visa has been the top choice for international investors, and what makes it particularly attractive for Indian investors?
Right. So, what makes it particularly attractive for Indian investors is the real estate investment option. Because of course in Greece there are other ways also through which other investment routes like funds, deposits, etc., through which also you can get a golden visa. but the real estate has been the most popular option. And as you know, we as Indians, we love real estate. We like to own properties, and we like to, accumulate our investment in properties. And Greece Golden Visa, Greece offers that option right now, that you can buy a property and not only enjoy high rental income and capital appreciation, but also get a golden visa.
True.
And secondly, the properties in Greece are quite beautiful. They are quite affordable compared to other European countries, and even compared to India. And they are located in such beautiful locations. Even if you want to have it as a second home, it is fantastic. It's like, instead of buying a second home in Goa, or maybe, up on the hills somewhere in the north, you can have a second home in a place like Greece, international destination like Greece, with fantastic weather and natural beauty.
That's very true. That's very true. And as we all know, that the market is very dynamic when it comes to the global front as well, and things have been changing for not only for Europe as such, but overall even in the United States or in other parts of the world as well. So from that perspective, do you think that the recent changes in the golden visa requirements can really change the landscape, and how it is evolving over the years for Greece as well?
Yeah. So you are absolutely right. Mayank, there have been a lot of changes in the program which have taken place, especially the golden visa programs in Europe. We have seen the Portugal golden visa was very popular among, not
Yeah.
only among Asians, but also among Americans. So post-COVID, there were a lot of Americans who were flocking to Portugal, investing over there, and a lot of people from UK after Brexit were also going for the Portugal golden visa. And of course, Indians as well as Chinese, Vietnam, Korean investors were also flocking over there.
Mhm.
But with the change in the Portugal, golden visa program, first there was a change in the program where they increased the investment amount, and then there was a second change where they completely discontinued with the real estate option. And then, of course, there were delays and in the processing. There was a change in the administration in Portugal, because of which there were huge backlogs. And so people started moving away from Portugal. And the biggest beneficiary of that shift was Greece, because Greece was still the cheapest golden visa option. You could buy a property in Greece for 250,000 euros, and you could still invest in real estate. So Greece overtook Portugal by big numbers. We had seen huge numbers in 2023 after the Portugal golden visa, became unattractive. We saw more than 9,000 people, 8,000 people filing for golden visa, Greece golden visa in 23, and in 24 also we saw more than 9,000 people filing for golden visa. This is because A, the investment amount was less, and B, the real estate option was still there. What
That's
is
very
notable is that even after increase in the amount, when the Greece in the 2023, when they saw an increase in the number, they decided to increase the investment amount. So they changed the investment amount from 250,000 to 500,000 in certain locations.
yeah.
Despite that, there was a huge rush of applications. People were still filing over there. So once again, last year they changed the investment amount. They increased the investment amount from the properties which were 250,000, they made it 400,000, and the
Mhm.
properties which were 500,000, they made it 800,000.
Yeah.
But despite that, we are seeing that people are continuing because other options are no longer available. You don't have a real estate option in Portugal anymore, and Spain, which was other competitor, which anyways required 500,000 euros of investment, has also decided to stop its program and put restrictions on the real estate. So today, for most of the Asian investors who like to invest in real estate, Greece Golden Visa remains the only viable and attractive option.
Interesting, interesting. So you have already covered Spain and Portugal as well. That was something that I was supposed to ask you about, the real estate comparison. But
Right.
nevertheless, if we talk about the real estate option specifically, like the luxury or commercial or rental yield, from what would get the best returns for Indian investors out of the three?
Yeah. So I think I mean, earlier in Greece, you could take a residential property and lend it out for short term on Airbnb or Booking, and you could get a very good So, you know, if you're buying a residential property, then buy it from a long-term rental point of view.
Mhm.
And I think if you're looking at long term, then commercial property would make more sense compared to residential income property. Now, it depends whether you are buying it only as a second home. If your objective is purely to invest, get a golden visa, and earn a rental income, then commercial property would make more sense. It will give you steady rental income. But if you are looking at as a second home that in future you would like to go and stay over there, or maybe during holidays you would like to go and stay over there, then obviously you need to buy a residential property,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
There is
So,
one more option which we are seeing right now. After all
okay.
this changes, there is recently another change when it comes to Greece Golden Visa is that you can invest in an older property and refurbish it. You buy an
Mhm,
older property, refurbish it, in which case the investment amount is only 250,000 euros.
mhm,
So we have options. We have seen some developers who are coming in, they're buying old property, they're converting it into a hotel, and they are, selling units in the hotel to the investors. So in
mhm.
this way, you can own a residential property, or you can own a property in Greece for just 250,000 euros, get golden visa. You also get a short rental, return, as well as you get to stay in the property in which you are investing. So which is a win-win situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, definitely, it makes a lot of sense if you're getting the property at the equivalent price, but at a better location. Considering it's refurbished, I think it's fine for the investors till that time. So
Right.
since it's when we are calling it an investment, the idea is to get the ROI, and that's the whole idea, I believe.
Exactly.
So moving forward, I think the next segment we thought of covering was the financial and the legal considerations. So,
Right.
what are the financial and legal due diligence steps an Indian investor must consider before making any kind of investments in Greece?
Right. So as far as a financial due diligence, financial considerations are concerned, the one is of course, you need to arrange the funds, because if you're buying the property, you will need to, buy the property and invest the money upfront. You need to keep in mind that Indian investors cannot take a loan to invest in property overseas. So that is an important consideration, that you will have to ensure that the entire money comes from you, for the purpose of investment. The
The,
second
the
consideration,
mortgage option is also not available.
mortgage is not available for Indian investors. You can't borrow overseas. So that is one thing that you need to keep in mind. The
Okay.
second thing you need to keep in mind is that you comply with the, LRS limit. As you know, as every Indian can invest only $250,000 every year in a financial year.
Yeah.
So you need to plan it. You need to plan it. You need to take advantage of a time period like now, when we are approaching the end of the financial year. So you can remit part of the money now and part at the beginning of the next financial year, and have enough money to, meet your investment threshold. So this is something which we are seeing a lot of Indian investors don't keep this in mind. They simply, just kind of commit the funds and send the money out, and then they're stuck with compliance on the LRS front,
Mhm.
or they take a loan without understanding that it is not allowed under the Indian laws, and maybe sometime in future they could get into trouble. So this is an
Interesting.
important consideration as far as compliance and finance is concerned. And when it comes to due diligence, of course, of the property that you are buying, it is important that you consult with a good, immigration lawyer as well as a real estate lawyer. You need to ideally have somebody who is an expert not only in immigration but also in real estate, who can
Mhm.
guide you properly on what type of property to buy, what kind. Now, with so many categories of properties available, it is important to see that whatever property you are investing in, it qualifies for golden visa. And then of course, that is the immigration part of it. And then the normal real estate part of it, you need to look at the title check. You need to look at, the property, whether there are any, that's a clear title, there are no encumbrances on the property, and all those things. For this, you need a good lawyer in Portugal to advise you, in Greece, to advise you on all the aspects.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's very well explained. And specifically, one important question which I thought I'm going to only ask people from India who's helping Indian investors to invest internationally was about the taxation impact for the Indian investors.
Right.
So, if an Indian investor is investing in Greece specifically, are
Yeah.
there any options of double taxation treaties which are being there by India as such, or which could benefit the Indian investors?
Yeah, so typically what happens is, when you are investing in a property in Greece and you earn rental income, that rental income is accruing in Greece, so it is subject to taxation in Greece. But since you are an Indian, you are taxed on your global income in India. So technically, there will be a double taxation, but fortunately, there is a double taxation avoidance agreement between Greece and India, so which gets you that set of benefit, and you will not be subject to double taxation.
Okay, got it. So the question I'm going to ask you now might be a little tricky, and it's totally up to you whether you want to answer it or not. Is about the legal requirements for a property ownership and title transfer in Greece. I mean, how can investor ensure a smooth transaction?
Yeah. So again, like I said, each country has its own real estate law is quite different and varies from country to country. So the best way is to have a real estate lawyer by your side when you are entering into the transaction who will guide you. And ideally, you should have a law work with a law firm which has an immigration lawyer as well as a real estate lawyer. So both of them can be in sync and they can guide you.
Mhm. Okay. Now, specifically talking about the process and timelines, and I think process is something which you've already explained in the previous question.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the expected timelines from selecting a property to receiving the residency permit. What would be the expected timelines for that?
Right. So I think the timeline for completing your investment could take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. It all depends upon how quickly you are able to arrange the money, how quickly you are able to remit the money, and then identify the property and buy it. So that process could take anywhere from maybe 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months. It's up to you. Once you have invested in the property to get the golden visa, right now, because of the backlog, the wait period is quite long. It could go up to 1 year also.
Mhm.
But there are certain ways in which if you go to a particular smaller city and you apply for the golden visa for over there, or you do your process over there, then it could be faster.
Okay.
So again, you need an experienced immigration lawyer to guide you on that, to tell you that where should you apply, at what time you should apply, and by when you can expect to get your approval
I think
quickly.
it's more on case to case basis, depending upon individual case. It depends completely on the viability of that, I believe. So
Exactly.
the yeah, perfect. So the next segment we're going to talk about is the benefit beyond residency, which is again pretty interesting, and this is one of the reasons why people actually invest majorly from India.
Yeah.
So the first question is, how does holding a Greek residency permit enhance global mobility, especially for Indian investors with business interest in Europe?
Right. So with the Greece Golden Visa, when you get the Greece Golden Visa, the immediate benefit that you get is you have a right to stay in Greece.
Hmm.
You can settle there and you can also do business over there. So that is the immediate benefit that you get. The second benefit of getting a Greece Golden Visa is that you can travel visa free to Schengen countries. Now, these are about 26, 27 Schengen countries. You have France, Germany, Greece, Portugal, Switzerland, etc., which are a part of the Schengen cooperation. So all these countries you can visit visa free with your Greece Golden Visa card, and you can stay here for an extended period of time of up to 90 days during a block of 180 days.
Okay.
Right. So this is a major benefit for somebody who has business interest in Europe or would like to explore opportunities in Europe and travel across to different countries easily without much hassle. We all know it's so difficult to get Schengen visas nowadays from India. There is a long wait period. You have to wait for months to get the appointment, and whenever you get the visas, there are also for a limited period of time, maybe 1 week, 10 days, 15 days, or for your duration of stay.
Yeah.
So in that situation, having a Greece golden visa which gives you access to Europe is definitely an advantage.
Okay. Interesting. So specifically, I mean, when somebody comes to you and say that he's looking for an investment in Europe for the golden visa specifically,
Yeah.
what are the common reasons for people to invest in Europe? For of course, one is of course to get the golden visa. But apart from golden visa, are there any specific things aligned along with it? Like, say for example, are they only meant for business purposes, or they are planning the retirement in Europe? What could be the best reason for that?
Yeah. So there are different objectives. There are some people who want a golden visa only as a backup, so that if something happens, in their home country or wherever, if there is some kind of a problem, if there is an economic or a social upheaval, or there is a pandemic or a natural disaster or a situation like that, and they need to move somewhere to protect their family, you have a backup option. You can always go to the other country. The second is, of course, long-term retirement planning. A lot of people are planning for the future. They're saying that if we have money now, we can invest, we buy in a property, and then in future, if we decide to live, because all those European countries have a fantastic lifestyle, and Greece is quite affordable. When it comes to affordability, Greece is quite affordable, and it has a fantastic weather and natural beauty. So people would, of course, like to spend time over there. That could be one reason. Another important reason is, of course, access to Europe and the Schengen visa. So travel mobility, retirement planning, and backup plan. I would say these are the three primary reasons for which people are looking at golden visa.
Fantastic. So this was whole all about investments in Greece and of course the golden visa and getting your returns for investments. Now, another important aspect would be the exit strategies and ROI.
Yeah.
So when we talk about that, what are the available exit strategy for investors looking to liquidate their Greek assets in future?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're investing in a real estate, you can always sell it if you decide you don't want to continue with the golden visa. You have had enough and you don't need the golden visa anymore. You can always sell your property. It's like market exit, like selling any other property. There are no restrictions whatsoever. And you'll get market related price for the property.
Okay, interesting. And when you compare the return on investment, how do you see compared to the other European countries? Like?
Well, compared to other European countries, if we compare with other countries like Portugal and Spain, Greece property prices have seen quite a lot of appreciation over the last, few years. Especially in the last 3 years, we have seen double-digit growth in, almost 10 quarters. So last 10 quarters, we have seen double-digit growth, which continues to be there. So compared to that, in Portugal, after they discontinued the real estate option for Portugal golden visa, we have seen a slowdown over there. The property price appreciation has stopped. Similarly, in Spain, again, with that announcement that, golden visa will be discontinued for property investors, they're also talking about taxing foreign property buyers in Spain. So we have seen dwindling interest in Spain real estate as well. So right now, all the, real estate options in Europe, Greece appears to be the most attractive option.
Absolutely. And now I would like to understand from your experience one success story where you can mention about any of your clients specifically from India who's invested in Greece through you. What have been
Yeah.
the whole process and how do you think it has really helped him in getting the thing sorted and how much time duration it took? That's one. And another example which talks about the common mistakes that the Indian investor normally do before investing in any other part of the world. Specifically, since we're talking about Greece, we would like to more understand about Greece itself. So you can
Yeah.
give these two examples and we can take the discussion forward from there.
Right. So the first example I would like to give you is about, our investor from India who had a daughter who was, about the age, the father was about to retire and daughter was an adult, about 20 years of age. And they were planning that how the entire family could move to Greece outside India. Father was looking at it more from a retirement point of view and also wanted to create an option so that daughter also in future can have a right in Greece. So that's how we worked out the solution. Initially, we thought that the father would be the primary applicant and he could apply for the golden visa by investing in a property. And, but in that case, since the daughter was adult and independent on her own, she could not, be a part of it. So then we flipped it aside. We said that let the daughter apply and let the father be independent, be dependent. In this way, we managed to cover the entire family over there. Both father and daughter were covered under the golden visa, and their objective was achieved. Right now, the father plans to move over there whenever he retires, and daughter already has a right in
Interesting.
Greece. So this was a solution that we crafted for this family. The other situation that we came across in case of, where we ran into some problem was, of course, remittance of funds from India on the LRS fund. We are looking at buying a property. The property price was about 800,000 euros. So that was a limit. And the client who liked that property, although he had an option of investing 400,000, but he was inclined. He wanted to buy that property for 800,000 euros. And, we told him about the various restrictions, various limitations under the FEMA. And he kind of, said that we told him that, look, it will not be possible for you to remit all that money in just one financial year. Why don't you just buy the other property for 400,000 euros and meet the FEMA compliance and get the property right now? But he delayed the process and he could not remit the money on time and he missed the bus.
Okay, okay, interesting. I think these are certain valuable experiences that you have shared with our subscribers. Definitely, it's going to add some value to their understanding about how they need to proceed. So, last but not the least, as an expert, what's your final advice for any Indian investor who's considering to invest in Greece as their next investment destination?
Right. So my advice would be that, first understand why do you want to do a Greece golden visa? What is your objective? You have to be absolutely clear about your objective. Just because, your friend or someone else has done a golden visa and they are talking about it, it doesn't mean you should also jump into it. Be clear about your objective, what you need, why you need it. And if you feel that it meets your objective, then embark on the journey. Do a proper due diligence. See what other investment options are available to you. Identify, consult with professionals, not only in Greece but also in India, because you need to keep in mind the Indian laws also, especially when it comes to remittance. The government is becoming, more and more vigilant on this front, and they are observing the situation very closely. You also have the TCS element, so you need to provide for that. So ensure that you meet the Indian leg of the compliance as well as the Greek side of the immigration and the investment requirement. And go with trusted professionals in this journey.
Absolutely. I think that's the prime importance, because if you don't have the right person at the right time, it's going to be a very difficult and daunting task for you. And
Exactly.
we would like to thank you, Mr. Karya, for your time. And I'm sure our subscriber must have received some really valuable inputs and advices from you. And now I would request you to also let our subscribers know what's the best way to get in touch with you.
Yeah, I think the best way to get in touch with me is either you can contact me on my number, directly at 750-6767-350, or you can visit our website www.acquest-advisors.com, and you can reach out to us. Our WhatsApp number, our email number, our contact address. We have offices across India. Everything is there on our website. So that's the best way to reach out to us. And of course, don't forget to watch our YouTube channel. We have a lot of informative videos on YouTube on various immigration programs other than the Greece Golden Visa. So you'll get a flavor of what is there available in the investment by immigration space out there. So visit our YouTube channel, Acquest Advisors, and for more information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And definitely, I'm sure, and we'll also put all your details in the description along with the video, so that anybody who wants to get in touch with you can also take the reference of that as well. So once again, I would request all our subscribers to do your due diligence before making any kind of investments. And the purpose of creating such important videos at the Greece Investment Summit is to educate you to make better investment decisions. And with this, I once again thank you, Mr. Karya, and look forward to connecting with you very soon in future.
Right. Thank you very much, Mayank, for having me. It was a pleasure to be on your show, as
Thank you.
always.
Thank you. Thank you.